Given a function's derivative, f dash of x, in this video we see how to find the x-coordinates of a function's stationary points, as well as how to classify the stationary points we find and justify our answers. And for this video, we'll be doing so using our graphical calculator. As you can see in the upper right-hand corner here, I've already set aside an example for us to work through in the second half of this video. And in this example, we'll see exactly how to find the stationary points and how to classify them, justifying our answer. For the first half of the video, though, we're going to either remind ourselves of, or introduce ourselves to, what a stationary point actually is, as well as what the different types of stationary points are. So let's get started. So first of all, given a function f of x, a stationary point is a point along the curve of f of x at which its derivative f dash of x is equal to 0. And in fact, I'll box that. That's absolutely fundamental. When looking for a stationary point, this is the first thing we need to be thinking of. Now, since a derivative's role is to give us the curve's gradient, or more specifically, it tells us the gradient of the tangent to the curve, at a stationary point, since the derivative equals to 0, that tells us that the tangent to the curve at a stationary point is horizontal, since any horizontal line has a gradient equal to 0. And with that in mind, here are some of the stationary points we may be faced with. Well, one of them would be a maximum point on a curve. So if I draw a curve looking something like this, let's say that's y equals to f of x, and I'll draw a very generic x-axis underneath here. There we go. Then I'm sure you can appreciate that at this point right here, the curve reaches a maximum point, and at that point, the tangent to the curve would be horizontal. And so if I were to say that the x-coordinate of this maximum point is c, so in fact I'll sort of illustrate that here, let's say that this x value here is c, then at this maximum point, and at any maximum point, the derivative will equal to 0. So here we could write f dash evaluated at c is equal to 0. Furthermore, as we go through a maximum point going from left to right, hopefully it's clear that the curve initially increases, reaches the maximum point, then decreases. And that tells us that to the left of a maximum point, the derivative is positive, and to the right of a maximum point where the curve is decreasing, the derivative will be negative. And as we'll be seeing when we work through the example here, to classify a stationary point as a maximum point, one of the ways is to show that, as we go through that point going from left to right, the derivative goes from being positive to 0 to negative. Indeed, that corresponds to a maximum point. Okay, another type of stationary point that I'm sure you know of is a minimum point. So again, if I draw a very generic curve here, y equals to f of x, and with an x-axis underneath here, like so. And as we can see here, as we go from left to right, this curve goes through a minimum point right here. And so if I quickly label that, I'll say it's right here, and I'll say that the x-coordinate there is c again. There we go. Well, this corresponds to a stationary point, because at that point the tangent to the curve is horizontal, which again tells us that the derivative function, so f dash, evaluated at that value of x, so f dash of c, will equal to 0. So just as for a maximum point, which is a stationary point, a minimum point is also a stationary point at which the tangent is horizontal and the derivative equals to 0. But this time, as we go through a minimum point going from left to right, the curve initially decreases, reaches the minimum, then increases. Consequently, as we go from left to right through a minimum, the derivative function goes from being negative as the curve decreases, to 0 at the minimum point, to positive as the curve increases. And so this pattern here, negative, 0, positive, is exactly how we would classify a stationary point as being a minimum point. And so I'll write a little min on the left-hand side here, like so. Okay, now many of you may be thinking that these are the only two types of stationary points, but in fact, there's another type of stationary point that's worth knowing about. And here's what it could look like. We could have a function, f of x, which looks something like this. It increases, then has a flat region, and then increases again. And so I'll say that's y equals to f of x, and again I've got my generic x-axis here, there we go. Now, as we look at this curve, hopefully it's clear that as we go from left to right, it's increasing. But it's perfectly possible for there to be somewhere roughly here, and again, I'll say that the x-coordinate at that point is C. It's perfectly possible for there to be a point like this, at which the tangent to the curve is horizontal. Consequently, at a point like this, the derivative function, so f dash, evaluated at that value of x, so in this case c, would equal to 0. So this is indeed a stationary point since the derivative equals to 0, but clearly it's neither a maximum nor a minimum. And this type of stationary point is known as a horizontal point of inflection. And the one that's drawn here is known as an increasing horizontal point of inflection, since the graph increases on either side of that point. So in this case, to the left of C, the curve is increasing, so f dash of x is greater than 0. And to the right of C, and therefore to the right of this stationary point, the curve is increasing again, so f dash of x is still greater than 0. And for the sake of writing that down, that's known as a horizontal point of inflection. Okay, and the one I've drawn here is an increasing horizontal point of inflection. And for the sake of completing this, I could quickly sketch a decreasing horizontal point of inflection down here. So again, I'd have an x-axis there, and somewhere here there'd be a stationary point. So right here, and I'll say that the x value there, once again, is c. The tangent here at this point is horizontal, and so f dash at c is equal to 0. And hopefully it's clear that to the left of that point, the curve is decreasing as we go from left to right, and the same can be said to the right of that point. It's decreasing. So this is the curve of y equals to f of x, and hopefully it's clear that f dash of x is negative here, and it's negative here as well. There we go. That's a decreasing horizontal point of inflection. Okay, so those are the types of stationary points that we should be aware of. And for each of these types of stationary points, the sign of the derivative on either side of the stationary point tells us exactly how to classify them. So if we find a stationary point and to the left the derivative is positive and to the right it's negative, then it must be a maximum point. If on the other hand we find that to the left of the stationary point the derivative is negative and to the right it's positive, then it must be a minimum point. And if on the other hand we find a stationary point which is such that the derivative has the same sign on either side of it, well, then that's a horizontal point of inflection. Now, all of that being said, let's go ahead and work through the example we have here with our calculator. So we're told that a function f of x is such that f dash of x is equal to 3x squared minus 12x plus 9. And the first thing we have to do here is find the x-coordinates of the stationary points of y equals to f of x. Okay, so that's the first thing we have to do here. I'll write a little 1. And now, even if we're going to be using our calculator to solve this problem, it's still important in an exam or an assessment to write as much working or at least reasoning as possible. And here, since we're after the stationary points of f of x, the key thing to be writing here is something along the lines of solve f dash of x equals to 0. Indeed, just writing this is likely to get us 1 point for method. So to solve f dash of x equals to 0, the whole idea is we're going to use our graphical calculator to plot f dash of x, which is given to us in the question. And so moving over to my calculator here, which you can see on the screen, and here I'm working with the TI-Nspire CX, but regardless of the calculator you use, the method you'll see here will be the same. The first thing I need to do here is plot this function. So on this calculator, I'll do this in the scratch pad. So if I quickly click on the calculate here, and then in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, I'd click on the graph tab, like so. And now I'll enter the derivative function's equation. So that's 3x squared minus 12x plus 9. And I click on enter. Now looking at this, I can see there's a lot of wasted space on the screen here, so if I quickly readjust the window settings, I'll plot this graph from x between, say, -1 up to 4. So if I quickly do that, let's see on this calculator, to adjust the window settings, I click on Menu, followed by the fourth option, Window/Zoom, followed by the first option, Window Settings. I change my minimum x value to -1, and my maximum x value to 4. And that should do, and I'll click on OK. There we go, that's much, much better. So to be clear, the graph we see here is not the graph of f of x, it's the graph of f dash of x, the derivative function. So to solve f dash of x equals to 0, all we really need to do here is find this function's zeros. In other words, its x-intercepts. And for that, with this calculator, all I have to do is click on Menu, followed by the sixth option, Analyze Graph, followed by the first option, 0. Now I'll start with this x-intercept here. The calculator is asking me for a lower bound, which we can see in the lower left-hand corner of the calculator screen. And all that means is place yourself anywhere to the left of the point you're after. So I'll go here, for example, and I click. Now it asks me for the upper bound, which basically means go to the right of the point you're after. So if I hover over to the right, and I click, done. So one of the solutions to f dash of x equals to 0, and I could write it underneath here, one of the solutions is x equals to 1. Now for the other solution, which would be this point right here, I do the same thing, so I click on Menu, followed by Analyze Graph, followed by 0 again. It asks me for the lower bound, which is any point to the left of that, so I go here and I click. It asks me for the upper bound again, and I hover over to the right and I click. There we go. I see the x-coordinate is 3, so that's the second solution to this equation, x equals to 3. And as such, we've now answered the first question. The x-coordinates of the stationary points of y equals to f of x are the x values at which f dash of x equals to 0. And so those are x equals to 1 and x equals to 3. Done. Now for question 2. Now in question 2 we need to classify the stationary points we found and justify our answer. Well, to answer that type of question, here's what I recommend you do. Still looking at the calculator here, we can make a quick sketch of the derivative function, which would look something like this. So that's y equals to f dash of x. There we go. Y equals to f dash of x. And you don't really have to worry about the y-axis here. All that matters is the x-axis. So if I draw it like this, there we go. That's my x-axis. And based on our previous answers and the calculator screen we have, hopefully it's clear that the curve y equals to f dash of x crosses the x-axis at 1 and at 3. Alright, with that information out of the way, we can now get rid of the calculator. And here's the whole idea. To classify the stationary points, as suggested by what we saw at the very beginning of this video, we need to study the sign of the derivative on either side of the stationary points. In other words, we need to figure out whether f dash of x is positive or negative on either sides of these values 1 and 3. And for that, I recommend you do that in a table. And here's what I mean. Underneath the sketch we just made of y equals to f dash of x, we can make a very quick table, and it's a sign table looking something like this. On the top row we'll show the values of x, and in the second row we'll show the sign of f dash of x, and then at the bottom there we'll make a tall row for f of x. And don't worry, I think this will become clear in just a minute. Now, on the top row of this sign table, I make a note of the values of x at which the derivative is equal to 0. In other words, I make a note of the solutions we found to f dash of x equals to 0. And those were 1 and 3, so I write a 1 here and a 3 right there. And underneath those two values, I make vertical lines that go all the way to the bottom of the table, like so. Now, at x equals to 1 and at x equals to 3, f dash of x is equal to 0. And to show that, I write a 0 on that line here and another one right here. Again, that's on the row for f dash of x. Now, for the 3 cells that I see here, I need to indicate whether the derivative is positive or negative. And for that, looking at the graph of f dash of x, all I have to look at is whether the curve is above or below the x-axis. So, to the left of this x-intercept, we can see that the curve is above the x-axis. And that tells us that f dash of x is positive. On the other hand, between x equals to 1 and x equals to 3, the curve of f dash of x is underneath the x-axis, which tells us that f dash of x is negative for x values between 1 and 3. And so I put a negative sign right here. Finally, for x values greater than 3, we can see that the curve is above the x-axis, which tells us that f dash of x is positive, and so we write a positive sign here. And now that this row showing us the sign of the derivative is complete, we can complete this tall row we have for f of x to indicate whether f of x increases or decreases. And here's what I mean. To the left of x equals to 1, we can see that f dash of x is positive. And if the derivative is positive, that means that the function is increasing. So I draw an arrow pointing upwards. Then, for x values between 1 and 3, the derivative function is negative. And if the derivative is negative, that tells us that the function f of x must be decreasing, which again is shown with an arrow, but this time pointing downwards. Finally, for x values greater than 3, we saw that f dash of x is positive, and if f dash of x is positive, then f of x must be increasing. So we draw an arrow pointing upwards like so. And these arrows show us that the stationary point when x equals to 1 must be a maximum point. And in fact, I could write that here. This must be a maximum point. And the stationary point when x equals to 3, well, that must be a minimum point. And so I'll write a minimum right here. And of course, this table confirms what we had seen earlier on. As we go through a maximum point, the derivative goes from positive to 0 to negative, which is exactly what we had seen up here. The derivative went from positive to 0 to negative. And at a minimum point, the derivative goes from negative to 0 to positive, which is exactly what we had down here. The derivative went from negative to 0 to positive. And as such, we've now answered question 2. We've classified the stationary points. And I suppose we could go one step further. We could say there's a maximum, so I'll just say max at x equals to 1. And of course, we could say min at x equals to 3. Okay, now to finish, some of you may be wondering what the graph of y equals to f dash of x looks like when it comes to horizontal points of inflection. Remember, for horizontal points of inflection, we had a stationary point somewhere along the curve's length, and on either side of that, the derivative had the same sign. And so for an increasing horizontal point of inflection like the first one here, the derivative function may look something like this. So I've got my graph y equals to f dash of x there, and my x-axis would be somewhere here, right there, let's say at c. And looking at this, we can see that the curve touches the x-axis when x equals to c, so f dash of c would be 0, but it's above the x-axis on the left-hand side and the right-hand side here, which is how we would get a graph looking like this one. For a decreasing horizontal point of inflection, it would be very similar, except that we would have something looking like this. There we go, it would be completely underneath the x-axis. And again, that would have been y equals to f dash of x. There we go. So if this is y equals to f dash of x, it's equal to 0 when x equals to c, which explains the stationary point we see here. And to the left of that, the curve is underneath the x-axis, and it's underneath the x-axis to the right of that as well, which is how we would get f dash of x negative here and here as well. All right, all that being said, we've now done a good tour of the different types of stationary points, and we've seen a worked example of how to classify them using the sign of the derivative function. And that's it for this tutorial.